When discussing Orioles outfield prospects, names like Yusniel Diaz and Heston Kjerstad usually get the first mentions.
Yusniel brings a potential impact bat. I think they could project him being a 25 homer guy, 80, 90 RBIs, play solid D.
But center fielder Ryan McKenna has worked his way into the conversation.
We've got three really quality center fielders, defensive center fielders on the roster with Hayes, with Mullins, and with Ryan McKenna.
The 24-year-old has been steadily climbing prospect lists, even as the O's farm system swells with talent.
Outfielder number 65, welcome to Baltimore, Ryan McKenna.
After joining the big league team a week ago, McKenna suddenly has the opportunity to pull ahead of the pack. A former fourth-round draft pick, McKenna didn't draw much attention until his breakout 2018. He hit .377 in half a season with High A Frederick before receiving a promotion to Double-A.
Staying within myself, not trying to, mentally get too big or, try to make a bigger deal of, the level of Double-A.
Ryan ran into stiffer competition in Bowie, as several highly regarded prospects arrived right before the trade deadline.
He's got some tools. He's got some power. He can play right field.
But it was McKenna's speed and defense that set him apart. He stole 25 bags in 2019 and proved more than capable in all three outfield spots.
Oh, what a catch! Ryan McKenna!
Scouts took note of Ryan's improved power. He impressed at the alternate site in 2020 and joined the taxi squad in September.
I had a good conversation with Brendan and said, hey, I feel confident here, and if and when you guys need me, I'm ready to contribute to a winning ball club here in Baltimore.
In less than a week into the 2021 season, McKenna got the call.
I tried to do as best as I could to control the emotions. Yankee Stadium, it's a pretty cool place to make your debut. And
now he's putting his tantalizing tools on display in front of major league audiences.
He can run. There's no doubt about that. Scouting report.
And hoping to prove he can be a key piece of the Orioles rebuild.
That's been my goal all the way through the minor leagues is, make a positive impact on this organization and, ultimately win a World Series with the Baltimore Orioles.
You know who led the Orioles farm system in strikeouts in 2019? It wasn't top pitching prospect Grayson Rodriguez.
10 strikeouts again for Grayson Rodriguez.
It wasn't phenom DL Hall either. Both finished in the top 5. But it was lefty Zac Lowther with his 154 punch-outs in Bowie who led all O's minor leaguers.
It's the 6th strikeout of the night for Zac Lowther.
Lowther isn't as highly rated as Rodriguez or Hall in the prospect rankings, but if his success at the lower levels is any indication, his ceiling could be just as high. The 6'2" Ohioan has been a strikeout machine ever since his days at Xavier. His 123 Ks as a junior made him a second-round pick in 2017. From there, it was a steady climb up the organizational ladder.
He's been dominant in the minor leagues. His numbers have been outstanding.
Lowther breezed through Aberdeen, Delmarva, and Frederick. And in 2018, he and fellow lefty Keegan Aiken were named the Orioles Minor League Pitchers of the Year.
The coaches are probably a big key for us at each level, and just being able to kind of teach us what we need to know.
2019 was more of the same. Zac rode his deceptive fastball and spike curveball to a .255 ERA with the Bay Sox.
When I miss, I'm trying to miss in good locations. Okay. So as long as I can stay out of the part of the plate, then I'm going to have more success than not.
Now, the 25-year-old doesn't exactly light up the radar gun, but he doesn't need a blistering four-seamer to fool hitters.
I'm not an overpowering pitcher, but being able to use my stuff to the best of its ability is something that is going to help me get to each next level.
When Lowther debuted in April, he wasted little time in earning his first big league strikeout.
Strike 3, there's his first major league K.
It was the first in what the Orioles hope is a career filled with Ks. In case you haven't heard, a certain lefty is dominating on the mound for the Bowie Bay Sox. Yes, DL Hall has understandably drawn the bulk of the headlines, but 24-year-old lefty Kevin Smith is also putting up stellar numbers. Just one of several recent Mike Elias trade acquisitions to make a strong impression in the Orioles system. Smith's 1.06 ERA ranks first in the league among qualified pitchers by a large margin. He's also racked up 22 strikeouts in just 17 innings. The former Georgia standout is getting his second taste of Double-A competition after spending time with the Mets affiliate in Binghamton in 2019. Smith was at the Mets' alternate site last year when he was sent to the Orioles at the deadline.
Yeah, I mean, I was working on all my pitches, just kind of tightening them all up, kind of getting used to all the analytical sides of how my pitches move and what to do with them, where to throw them, and what counts.
Kevin doesn't have prototypical velocity for a guy who's 6'5", but scouts love the spin rate on his four-seam fastball.
The four-seam has, we learned with spin rate and vertical break, it has a great ride to it. So that's sort of the pitch that we were trying to throw up in the zone, get swing and misses on.
A slider and changeup complete Smith's arsenal. The former is a go-to pitch, while the latter is a new weapon.
I feel comfortable with both, but my slider is probably the better pitch. I'm very comfortable throwing it in any count, so. And then the changeup came around for me really last year, beginning of the season, and that was one of my better pitches coming in because everyone's looking for the slider, and just throwing that changeup in there, got a lot of swing and misses, ground ball outs, everything.
At the O's alternate site in 2020, Smith got a head start on working with his future battery mates.
It was me and like a bunch of the catchers. I would have to say Rutschman was one of them. He was, I mean, obviously he's a great hitter, but he's a really good catcher. He's got great tools, so getting to know him was big.
Now Smith is probably still behind the likes of Mike Baumann, Kyle Bradish, and Zac Lowther in terms of development, but the Orioles have shown if you put up good numbers, you can move up through the system pretty quickly.
Through the first 50 games of the season, the Baltimore Orioles have fashioned a revolving door at second base. Rio Ruiz started 17 games, flashing defensively but struggling at the plate. Ramon Urias started 13 before his option to AAA. Pat Valaika has started games at shortstop and first base, along with 15 goes at second. And upon Rio Ruiz's DFA, the O's opted in favor of Stevie Wilkerson, who started 5 games at second since his promotion to the big leagues a week ago. Stopgaps fill temporary holes, but Baltimore is still looking for a permanent solution in the middle infield. The two most popular names tossed around as potential promotions are Jahmai Jones and Rylan Bannon. But Jones has been struggling with injuries and hasn't played since May 9th, and Bannon hasn't been hitting very well down in Norfolk with just a .175 batting average. Plus, it seems the organization views the 25-year-old as more of a third baseman than a second baseman, with 14 games at the hot corner for the Tides compared to just 3 at second. So if you're looking for a possible solution to the O's second base woes, an answer could still be in Double-A in the form of the O's 10th-ranked prospect, Terrin Vavra. The 24-year-old got off to a scorching start to the 2021 season, hitting .432 with an OPS close to 1.4 through the first 10 games of the year.
Really a solid player who was the South Atlantic League MVP in 2019. Real gamer, got some great instincts on the bases. So Vavra's off to a good start for Bowie, igniting that lineup at the top.
Despite a recent slump, Vavra has kept his OPS close to 1, drawing walks and showing a surprising amount of pop at the dish.
Really what you try to do is just try to keep your lower body involved. Your legs are, the foundation of your swing, and if you can get, some good use of your lower half, that helps translate into the ball.
The Orioles have been utilizing Vavra's versatility, giving him time at second base, shortstop, and center field.
Anywhere I can play that helps the team win is where I want to be. Played shortstop majority of my life, so I feel pretty comfortable there. But second base, I got to play a lot of it last year. And it's becoming kind of like a second home.
While the former Minnesota standout is still a few levels away from the bigs, the 24-year-old might be moving up quickly. Vavra's versatility and prowess at the plate could make him a valuable piece in the Orioles lineup for years to come.
Back in the summer of 2019, a sizable contingent of Baltimore sports media flocked to Aberdeen to see Adley Rutschman's debut with the Ironbirds. The prized prospect struggled that night, going 0 for 5, but 7 spots lower in the lineup, another member of the 2019 draft class quietly collected 4 hits.
That was probably my best game of the season, so of course I remember that.
Joey Ortiz's performance that night flew under the radar, but since that game, the former 4th-round shortstop has drawn plenty of attention, with terrific production in the minors. The momentum Ortiz started to build in 2019 was put on hold during the shutdown the following summer. But the California native didn't waste any time, getting in work in a makeshift gym he built in his garage.
It was one of those things where I need to work out, so I gotta, buy the stuff to be able to, stay ready.
Ortiz arrived at fall instructional camp stronger, faster, and sharper than before, and his teammates, like Andrew Dashbaugh, took notice.
He came out and was just hot right from the start. It looked like he'd seen live pitching all of quarantine. It looked like he was in mid-season shape. So whatever he's doing, I need to start doing as well.
The 22-year-old then carried that hot bat to Aberdeen to start the 2021 season. And it took him just 19 games to earn a promotion to AA Bowie, where he's continued to thrive.
The guy comes up and makes noise immediately.
Ortiz's glove can play at multiple positions as well. The New Mexico State product has gotten reps at second base and third base, in addition to shortstop.
Him and Grenier in the middle infield can be really dangerous for this Bay Sox team.
Ranked as the 30th best prospect in the Orioles system by MLB Pipeline, Joey is still omitted from most conversations about the O's future infield. But if he keeps up his strong play, Ortiz could be making headlines in Baltimore sometime soon. Orioles' first-round pick, Colton Cowser, is a left-handed hitting center fielder from Cypress, Texas, who's packed with potential. But there's another prospect already in the O's farm system who also fits that description, all the way down to the hometown.
Johnny Rizer takes a home run away from Tristan Casas.
Johnny Rizer was drafted 2 years prior and 6 rounds later than Cowser, but the 24-year-old Rizer is just 2 stops away from the big leagues and has a chance to outperform his 7th-round draft status. Like Cowser, Rizer was surrounded by talent from the moment he began playing organized ball in the suburbs of Houston.
It's a cool place to be just because there's a lot of talent, a lot of competition.
Johnny ended up at Texas Christian University with stops at Louisiana Lafayette and Blinn Junior College. But after an injury derailed his junior season, Rizer knew he had to perform in his final year of eligibility.
That just gave me a reason to work even harder coming into his senior year because that's all I had left to be drafted.
After the Orioles selected him in 2019, Rizer hit the ground running, mashing over 300 in both Aberdeen and Delmarva.
Rizer racing for third. He's got a 2-run triple.
A hot start to the 2021 season now has the outfielder in Bowie, flanked by fellow 2019 draftees Zach Watson and Kyle Stowers.
That's the cool part about this outfield is we got a lot of moving parts. We have a lot of talent, all studs. I think personally we can all play all 3 positions. We all have good reads. We can all play wherever.
The lefty hitter has bought into the organizational philosophy of plate discipline, and it's helped him put up solid numbers with the Bay Sox.
I feel like I can barrel a lot of balls. I have good bat-to-ball contact, but being able to do damage on pitches, you want to lay out the corners because that's a pitcher's pitch. Overall, it helps with the walk rates and cuts down strikeouts.
It's not hard to imagine Rizer's well-rounded game pushing him to Norfolk in 2022, and from there, a call up to Baltimore would be just around the corner. Alexander Wells is a pace of play enforcer.
I like a quick game, work quick, keep the guys off balance, and get a quick inning out there for the hitters to come in and score some runs.
Wells' climb up to the big leagues has been equally swift. The Aussie has never spent more than 1 season at any minor league affiliate.
I feel like my stuff can compete at each level.
With a fastball that sits just below 90 miles an hour, Wells hopes to be the latest in a long line of crafty lefties who have found big league success. Growing up in Newcastle, Wells was your typical Australian two-sport athlete.
I was a bowler in cricket and obviously a pitcher in baseball, so that definitely helped me transition with having a strong arm when I was younger.
Wells stuck with baseball, and it paid off when the Orioles signed him in 2015. Alexander came stateside a year after his twin brother Lachlan, who signed, fittingly, with the Twins.
Having him a phone call away and not having to wake up my parents early in the morning or late at night to talk to someone, so that really helps.
Success followed Wells at every stop on his journey in pro ball. A 2.15 ERA in Aberdeen, Orioles minor league pitcher of the year in Delmarva, 13 quality starts in Bowie.
We're on the train. We're rolling right now.
Wells has never had lights-out stuff or eye-popping strikeout numbers, but the lefty's impeccable command has kept his walk rate to a minuscule 1.4 per 9 innings in his minor league career.
It's not all about the radar gun. I feel like the command I have with my velo sometimes is better than throwing high 90s and not commanding it at all.
Wells' success starts with his ripper curveball, which teammates call the nice pitch.
12 to 6, trying to get some bit more sweep to it, trying to work on that. But I think I'm getting more chases, swing and misses this year.
The 24-year-old may not be ready to make regular starts in a big league rotation, but more seasoning in AAA should give Wells a chance to earn a starting spot in 2022.
It's time to talk about one of Orioles Twitter's favorite prospects, Jahmai Jones. Jones was acquired from the Angels back in February in exchange for Alex Cobb. The 24-year-old actually made his major league debut with Los Angeles in 2020, a brief 3-game showcase. But Jones, Baltimore's 16th ranked prospect, has yet to make his Orioles debut.
First of all, he said Mike Elias and the Orioles have a plan for him, and he's comfortable with that. Whatever they think is best, he's willing to go along with.
I was really excited. I definitely knew this was an organization that, wanted guys that were young, hungry players, wanted guys that could be developed into great players, and I definitely think that I'm a good fit in this organization.
I asked him specifically what he needs to work on, and he said just being consistent.
That consistency has been an issue for Jones. After a scorching start with the Tides, the second baseman has struggled in August, with a batting average well below 200 since the flip of the calendar. But while the offense has been slipping, the defense has been strong.
He's occasionally playing left field, playing mostly second base. He's done real well defensively. At second base, he's really smooth. I watch him while taking infield, working on turning double plays and stuff. And yeah, he's very natural out there. I think he's a major league caliber second baseman.
Now, it's no secret that the O's have needed help at that second base position, but the recently claimed Jorge Mateo has been filling into that role nicely, providing versatility and a ton of speed. So while the path to the majors may not have been as smooth as some were anticipating, Jones isn't getting discouraged.
It's a cool answer. He said, I play where my feet are. If that's AA, if that's AAA, if it's the big leagues, wherever I am that day, that's where I'm playing, that's where I'm trying to win, and that's all I'm worried about. And I thought that was a refreshing way to look at it.
But let's not forget, we're in mid-August. There's still time left on the schedule. Could we see Jahmai Jones as a September call-up?
I don't see any reason why not. He would hit a little bit. He played pretty good second base, maybe a little bit of left field. He has the makeup and the nature to carry himself in a big league clubhouse.
Looking back at the last 2 Orioles draft classes, you'll find a lot of college contact hitters. Now, 2020 4th-round pick Coby Mayo doesn't quite fit that mold, but the 19-year-old power-hitting third baseman is already making quite the impression. Mayo has vaulted to number 17 in the Orioles' top 30 prospect rankings according to MLB Pipeline. That jump comes after an impressive showing in the Florida Complex League. In 25 games, Mayo hit .329 with 4 home runs and 6 doubles, and impressively, just 14 strikeouts compared to 13 walks.
getting used to being in the box again after a year and a half of really not getting those at-bats. Seeing the ball well and taking advantage of the pitchers leaving the ball over the plate.
Mayo played well enough to earn a promotion to Delmarva, right along with some of the top picks from the 2021 draft class.
It was awesome. I mean, they really taken me in, and I'm the young guy. Even though I've been here for a year, I'm still the young one of the group.
Now, the 19-year-old doesn't have the same approach at the plate as a Colton Cowser or Connor Norby. The 6'5" third baseman is looking to drive the baseball, hopefully over the fence.
Keeping the ball in the air. Obviously, a kid like me, you don't want really balls on the ground. The more I can hit balls in the air, the more chance I have to hit the ball over the fence, and that's really the ultimate goal for me. I want to be a big power hitter in this organization, and try to be like one of the big guys in the MLB one day. Working with the hitting coaches a little bit to, produce more balls in the air, and I think from even spring training to now, it's been a big improvement with that, and really looking forward to see what I can do with this fence.
And with a cannon for an arm, Mayo isn't ignoring the importance of his defense at third either.
With my age and, really developing my body a little bit, getting more comfortable being over there and getting those repetitions. Like I said, it's just baseball comes down to getting those reps and, being out there feeling comfortable. And, with my work, with my trainer this off season, we did a lot of, footwork and drills.
The Orioles went far beyond slot value to draft Mayo back in 2020, and he joined a long list of promising young prospects in the system.
This organization is, through the moon with all these, minor league prospects now, and it's great because in 3-4 years you don't know what this Orioles team is going to be like, and I really think they got a really good shot of, trying to get that ring and be back to where they once were.
The Orioles were intent on adding arms in July's MLB draft, but come draft week, they waited and waited and waited before finally taking their first pitcher in the 5th round, Carlos Tavera. Now, the righty would be the only hurler the O's would take in the first 10 rounds of the draft, but Tavera is proof that Mike Elias isn't just looking for any pitchers, he's looking for the right pitchers. What attracted the Orioles to Tavera was the same thing that attracted Tavera to the Orioles, a commitment to analytics.
After learning the type of stuff they do and how analytical driven they are, I'm really excited to be here and be with the Orioles.
Baltimore no longer lags behind the league in their use of advanced metrics and technology. You can see the evidence of the team's progress in how they select players, particularly pitchers, in the draft.
We're just looking for guys that throw strikes, throw a lot of strikes, get more strikeouts than walks, and also guys that have some secondary weapons that we might be able to hone in on and improve.
Led by Supervisor of Domestic Scouting Operations, Brad Seelick, the O's focused on hitters in the draft's first 2 days, snapping up experienced contact bats. But then, the Orioles pivoted, picking 8 college pitchers on day 3. Tavera seized the strategy and noticed some trends in the types of pitchers drafted.
I think the Orioles did a really good job getting guys that have hop. That's kind of like the new wave of baseball. Hop is having ride on your fastball, so induced vertical break, spin rate, that sort of stuff.
Developing talent is just as important as identifying it, which is why Orioles Director of Player Development Matt Blood took several recently drafted pitchers on a trip to the Wake Forest Pitching Lab for an introduction to biomechanics.
Being able to know how to use your body and using all of your body the correct way, that's one of the things I really enjoyed.
And guys like Tavera, who are eager to learn from the data made available to them, tend to be easier to develop.
I saw the way baseball is going, so I didn't want to be behind. I was a guy that really wanted to be, knew what I was doing, how to improve, and those sort of things, so I really tried to study that sort of stuff.
Now, time will tell if the Orioles' pitching strategy pays off, but with 3 Mike Elias draft classes now in the organization, the results will be monitored closely. The Orioles prioritized 3 things in the 2021 MLB draft: college position players, good bat-to-ball skills, and improving power. First-round pick Colton Cowser checks all 3 of those boxes. So does second-rounder Connor Norby. And as the two prepare to move up in the organization, they're already starting to lean on each other for quite a lot. The on-field comparisons are obvious. But hitting isn't the only thing Cowser and Norby have in common.
We watch a lot of movies, which works out perfect. Me and him have been roommates since day one. We're trying to just help each other out through all this. Like, this is new for both of us, and trying to handle it as it's come.
The pair tops a draft class that's front-loaded with college position players. The group played together in the Florida Complex League before 14 of them were promoted together up to Single-A Delmarva.
We kind of feel like a team in our own sense. We got drafted together. We've came up the last month together, and now we're going to finish out the season together. So it's been nice in that sense, but it definitely has been different flying up together with 1 month left and trying to take over a team that doesn't feel like yours. And so we're trying to grow accustomed to the guys here and grow accustomed to each other some more.
Now the Shorebirds are playing lights-out ball, thanks to their rapidly developing chemistry.
We have such good chemistry already, and we've only known each other for a few weeks, and I just can't really imagine how that's going to be in a year or so.
But off the field, the friendships are real.
We're always giving each other a hard time already, and I think that's something that baseball clubhouses bring. They bring different friendships, and that's something that I'm really looking forward to as well, as long as these other guys are too.
As with any good friend group, everyone knows their roles. From the elder statesman,
I look at these guys like, nah, I'm getting old.
To the comic relief,
Jacob Teeter and Billy Cook. They don't say much, but when they do, it's the funniest thing you'll hear out of their mouth.
But there's one member of the squad who doesn't quite have as much in common. Coby Mayo was a 2020 draft pick out of Stoneman Douglas High School, but the new-look Shorebirds have embraced him all the same.
They've really taken me in, and I'm the young guy. Even though I've been here for a year, I'm still the young one of the group. These guys have been really, really good to me, and I'm glad we got to all come up here together and make this playoff run real and see what we can do.
Of course, nothing bonds teammates like winning, and as a new wave of prospects settles in here in Salisbury, a postseason push is certainly on the table. If you're looking for a scouting report on Mike Baumann, you need only ask his college teammate, Austin Hayes.
He's just a silent killer. He shows no emotion on the mound. He's just stone cold. If he's given up 7 runs in 2 innings, or he's gone out and he's throwing a no-hitter in the top of the ninth, he's just focused on the next pitch, and he just doesn't let anything get to him. I love that about him.
But don't let Baumann's game face or 6'4" frame fool you.
You look at the guy, he looks like he should be playing defensive end for the Ravens. He put his crown in a baseball uniform, he's out there on the mound, and he's just intimidating, but little do you know, he's the nicest guy ever.
Big Mike has big league stuff, and he could be the Orioles' best pitching prospect, not named Grayson Rodriguez or DL Hall. Hayes and Baumann were both third-round picks by the Orioles out of Jacksonville University, drafted a year apart.
Jacksonville is a special program. The kind of culture that he said that he built, he was a big part of that, and it was like a family feel. So, he's like a brother to me. He's a role model while I was there.
While it took Hayes just 1 year to make his major league debut, Baumann came along more slowly. But the righty was promoted mid-season each year he played in the minor leagues.
The hitters, have more discipline, and, if you make a mistake, they're going to take advantage of it. But at the end of the day, it's the same game, so you go out there and have some fun.
Baumann shot up prospect lists after a breakout 2019 when he tossed a 10-strikeout no-hitter in just his 3rd start with AA Bowie.
A cold strike 3. He has done it. He has thrown a 9-inning no-hitter.
After working his way back from an elbow strain in 2020, Baumann put on a show in his Baltimore debut this September.
It is a 1-2-3 first major league inning for Mike Baumann, and they're loving every second of it.
Big Mike's fastball sits in the mid-90s and has a late life that generates swings and misses.
He burns Hunter Dozier on an inside fastball.
Inside part of the plate and 95 miles an hour. You can't do it any better than that.
The righty pairs his fastball with a devastating slider.
And there's the slider. It's perfect because you don't pick it up.
If he can gain better command and continue to develop his changeup, Baumann has the upside of a major league starter. And with teammates Zac Lowther and Alexander Wells also pushing for rotation spots, the Orioles could have several young, exciting candidates to start games in 2022.